Wednesday, I'm gonna get right to this message because I am like through the roof excited about this message. First of all, once again, my name is Takara Bay. I am a motivational speaker and a author. And before we get started, you guys already know that I like to just take a moment to center ourselves, clear your thoughts. I want you to be focused. I want you to be right here in the moment. I want you to kind of just pay attention to some of the things that I am saying to you because I want it to help you, just as well as it helps me. So let's just take a moment to clear our thoughts and reflect on our blessings. Just being grateful in the moment raises your vibration. Even if you woke up in a bad mood, after you just sit and thank God for a few moments, for a few blessings or whatever, you will go from here to here, like you'll be floating on a cloud. It always makes me feel so good. It is very, very effective. So let's just count our blessings for a moment. Couple deep breaths if you choose. If not, then that's okay. I love that part. I do. I love that part. It always does something for me every time. Yes, I get up and count my blessings and thank God for waking me up another day and all of that. But I don't know if it's just something about doing it, with you guys and maybe just like collectively if we are able to, raise our vibrations, even if it's just for a few moments. I am very grateful for that. So this week's topic is healing. So I am like through the roof, so excited about healing. I think I know I was talking to you guys about doing a message on faith. So I literally have my ink pen in my hand and my pen, the pen to the paper, and I'm getting ready to write faith. I even started studying faith while I was at the gym yesterday. I just wanted to like break that thing down so we can be able to activate our faith on a level where as though it is effective to us. So I'm like, okay, God, since I already know you're going to do what you want to do anyway, let me, consult this with you, which I probably should have done in the first place. But sometimes God gives me a message that he wants me to relay. And, yesterday I asked him, I was like, before I write down faith, is there anything that you want me to relay to your people? And he said, healing. And it was clear as day. I was like, wow. And I am so glad, I'm so grateful that I allow myself to have such a close relationship with God and the Holy Spirit. I do. I spend a lot of time with God. I pray a lot. I fast, I meditate, I talk to God, and I allow God to talk to me. And when I asked, he just answered me like so quickly. Like sometimes God will answer you right now, sometimes he will make you wait. But in times like that, like I really don't want to wait, and he didn't make me wait. Like he instantly gave me healing. And I hurt myself again. I end up hurting myself again. I even had to end up calling out from work on Monday, which I really did not want to do. I enjoy my job, and I don't know. I'm still in the process of healing, which I am really grateful for. I didn't expect myself to be healing so quickly. I went to the doctor. My kids made me go to the doctor. They was like, nah, Mom. I was like, if it don't get no better in a couple days, I'm just going to go to the doctor. My son was like, nah, Mom, go to the doctor right now. So I'm like, they wanted to send me on the first thing smoking. When I got up the next day and I went to the doctor, I found out what was going on. I actually had muscle spasms probably from working out, and then I didn't stretch enough or drink enough water, and like 3 muscle spasms like inflamed in my back, and I was in like so much pain for the past couple days. Like I hadn't slept in days or anything, and I don't know if that is why healing came over me. I was like, I have to heal. I know I have to allow my body to heal. And I felt so like, I just felt like healing is a message that I probably should have been delivered over to you guys virtually and when I go out, because it is such a priority. I'm like, and not negating the fact that all the other messages that I relay over to you guys, they are very, very important. But I'm like, how are we going to get to this other important stuff if we don't allow ourselves to heal first? And it is so obvious that so many people have not allowed themselves to heal. So, being as though that God is allowing me to heal in so many different areas in my life, I don't know why it never occurred to me before that I need to talk about healing. A friend of mine lost her grandmother, and it was very hard for her, obviously, and we all experience losing a loved one in our lives. And I was like, you have to ask God for healing. Like, you have to open yourself up to healing, because if you never open up that door of healing and allow healing in, you're not going to heal. You have to open up the healing part of you. And that is just personally, through my process of healing, I wanted to heal. I asked God for healing, and in return, He allowed me to heal. I heard someone say that most people who have not allowed themselves to heal are still seeking sympathy. So in the seeking of sympathy, they allow themselves to still be stuck in the pain and the agony and the suffering, even physical ailments, because they have not yet got the satisfaction of sympathy, or from those who they want to be sympathetic towards them. So they would rather stay stuck in suffering until they get the proper sympathy from whoever they want to be sympathetic towards their pain or whatever. And some people choose to stay stuck in suffering and in pain and anguish or whatever that they are going through. So yes, today's topic is healing, and I'm just so grateful for this. Even through the process of this study, I felt myself healing even more. Like I just stayed stuck on this lesson last night for so long. I was done. I was done because God gave it to me so gracefully. He allowed me to write down what I needed to write down and to do the research that I needed to do and everything to put this lesson together. And this is one of these lessons where like I didn't want to be done. I was just like mesmerized by it and so excited by this message. I feel like this message on healing is going to help a lot of people. So here we go. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So healing occurs through the integrating forces that restore, transform, sustain, and nurture the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. To heal anything, we must experience the opposite of what we are experiencing now, from negative to positive. If we are sick, we want to be well. If we are sad, we want to be happy, and so on and so forth. So I'm sure we all have a general idea of what healing is. And so many of us are not healed from, past traumas, things that we had to go through even from our childhood or wherever. And that is not a great place to be, because it literally hinders you from moving forward into the life that God really has for you. Like, healing is so necessary. Like, it is adults out here that have not allowed themselves to properly heal and is still stuck in non-growth. Can't move on and do the things that they really need to do, because they have yet to allow themselves to heal. So take a good look at what is unhealed and think of ways you can begin to heal it. So all of our walks is very unique, and what might work for me may not work for you. So, whatever you need to be healed in, you have to look for what may work for you. We try to look at other people's lives and use the manual of their life, or read from the textbook of their life, when our walks are different. So you can't use the same technique. It might work for you, some of the same techniques that have worked for somebody else, but you have to be very creative in self growth, self improvement, self awareness, self love. When you are working on yourself, you have to be as creative as you possibly can be, because we get frustrated when something doesn't work, and then we give up on ourselves so easy. That's why New Year's resolutions doesn't last long. This is not for me. I can't lose weight. My mama was big boned, or it runs in my family, a high blood pressure run in my family. I can't be healthy and all this kind of stuff. And we begin to feed ourselves these excuses while we can't be as incredibly amazing as we really want to be. And you have to be creative. Your story does not have to be your mama's story. You can break generational curses and walk into healing. You do not have to suffer and ultimately die from the same thing that the people before you have died from. You can change the narrative of your life and allow it to be whatever you want it to be. That big nose might run in your on my daddy's side. Almost everybody on that side has a big nose. I learned to accept that part of myself, but everybody don't have diabetes. My father had diabetes. My father's mother had, diabetes. My mother had heart disease. Her mother died from heart disease. I had a cousin that died from heart disease. That don't mean that has to be my story. I was so grateful to God, even during this injury of these muscle spasms. And overall, I have great health. I am in great health, and I am so grateful every time I have to visit the doctor, because I hurt myself again. I deal with the injury at hand, and I don't have to deal with any kind of diagnosis that we allow ourselves to believe that has been passed down in our family. So, not to say that things are not hereditary, because they can be, but we convince ourselves of things that are not true just to allow them to be acceptable to us, so we won't have to do the work. Like, just go for a walk, do something healthy for your heart. Stop trying to make excuses about how high blood pressure runs in your family. That's laziness. That's an excuse. So we have to learn how to do the things that we need to do to heal. Ask yourself this. Okay, what from my past can I learn that would make me better in the future? So, I'm not a look back at my past type person. I'm like, that's the old me. I am so grateful to God, the amount of growth He allowed in me to experience in my life. I am nowhere near the person that I used to be, but sometimes you have to live and learn. You cannot continue to make the same mistakes that you made before in the past. That is just insane. So that is a good question to ask yourself. I'm going to read that question again. What from my past can I learn that would make me better in the future? So that was the first question. My second question is, what can I do today that will make me better than yesterday? So what can you do to make yourself better? Like, who wants to continue to stay in suffering? Like, we all should want to heal. So what can we do today that will make us better tomorrow? So that is just a good question to ask yourself. Y'all hold on tight, because I'm telling you right now, I did not plan on rushing through this message. I really just want to take my time out, try to be very respectful of you guys' time, excuse me, as well as my own, because I do have a full day. Wednesday is one of my busiest days, but this is a very important message. So although healing is a lifelong process, most people eventually recover and heal from their emotional scars. So that's the good thing about healing. Sometimes we might draw it out longer than it has to be drawn out, but studies show that most people eventually heal from their emotional scars. So that's a good thing. You know, sometimes we suffer way longer than what we have to suffer. And I'm not saying that pain isn't real, and people hurt us, or sometimes we do things that may cause hurt and distress on ourselves. Self accountability. Why was you even over there? If you had not been where you were doing whatever you were doing, then maybe this would have never happened. Sometimes we don't want to take accountability for our own suffering, and when you don't take accountability, it leaves zero room for growth. And when you don't grow, what if you end up in the same bad situation again, because you don't want to at least take some part in why the situation even occurred in the first place? Listen, I'm just the messenger. So take baby steps, be patient and persistent. Those P words are very important. So patience and persistence are two key factors that is going to help us all in our process of healing, in our life period, in our journey, whatever we want to do, wherever we want to go, our aspirations, our goals, our hopes. Rome was not built overnight. I keep saying that, and I actually looked up how long it took to build Rome, and it took thousands of years to build Rome. And once Rome was complete, it was named as one of the most beautiful places on earth. So it took so many years to build, but the beauty that came from that patience and time and persistence that it took to build Rome, it literally, they labeled it all over the world one of the most beautiful places in the entire world. So you got to be patient, and you got to keep pushing. You have to learn how to be persistent. I'm not saying that you are not, but if you are one person who does not practice persistence, and that means even when it gets rough, you have to keep pushing. You have to keep going. So persistence, that is key. So to heal, we must get rid of all negative energies such as bitterness, resentment, anger, discomfort, shame, and shame that is holding us back. So, you're not going to walk in complete healness if you are carrying these things around with you. Being bitter, being resentful, and this can be to yourself or to others. Bitterness, I'm going to run down that list again. Bitterness, resentment, anger, discomfort, and shame. You won't properly heal. You probably won't even be in a process of healing it, or you won't even heal at all if you are carrying around these negative feelings with you. So you have to let it go. So allow yourself to purge. Feel your emotions. Accept your emotions. Cry hard, yell loud. Those things are okay. Me personally, I hate crying. I don't like to cry at all. Or cry just go like in a healthy way, deal with your emotions, because if you don't deal with it in a healthy way, it might come out in a not so healthy way. So purge your emotions, get those emotions outside of you, all of that stuff that's packed down inside of you, just get it out. I hate to say gross, but like if you got a stomach ache, you probably ate too much junk or whatever, you got to throw up or let it out the other end or whatever. And once you release, you feel so much better once you get all that junk out. So that is what purging yourself is doing when you are dealing with healing and you want your emotions to heal. Sometimes you have to get that junk out so you can start the process of healing. Prioritize self-care and self-compassion. Open yourself to new experiences. I just said this to someone that I know and love dearly, have known my entire life. And I'm not going to get into it, but I'm like, why are you denying yourself new experiences? You don't know what might be out there waiting for you. Yes, we know what your past experiences has been and what you prefer out of life, but there just might be something out there waiting for you. So open yourself up to new experiences. Some people can sometimes get stuck in their ways, and they say older people, I don't know, I don't know how much older people and younger people in comparison get stuck in their ways, because for all I know, all reality, the younger ones and the older ones are not too far apart. I mean, it is just crazy how I see the actions of some older people, and they are just as less disciplined. They lack the amount of discipline just as much as the younger generation does. And sometimes we can get in the habit of looking down to the young generation. I don't know what's wrong with y'all and all that kind of stuff, but it's something wrong with some of these older adults too. They lack serious self-discipline, which has a major reflection on how the younger generation is, and they won't even admit or see that you are a part of the problem. So, period, point blank. But yes, open yourself up to new experiences. What that might be, what that might look like to you, your personal situation, I don't know. But I know even with this recent injury that I have, 3 people have mentioned yoga to me. So, excuse me. So I was like, okay, well, I do have access to free yoga classes. So, and I probably don't, I know I don't stretch my body out as much as I should, considering the amount of exercise that I do in 1 week. And that is one main reason why I caused this injury to myself. And I'm going to try yoga. And when I went to the doctor, she was like, yoga. I was talking to a personal trainer. He was like, yoga. And now during this study, I actually came across yoga during the study on healing. Yoga plays a major part in healing, and it is found to be very effective for people that suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. So I literally came across that. Like, this is the 3rd time I have been confronted with yoga in 1 week. So I have to see how I'm going to fit yoga in my busy schedule. So If that is not something that some of you may have not tried yet, I know I'm old to it. I mean, yoga. This is new to me. A lot of people have been doing yoga. I never even considered it, and I never even really looked up the benefits that it can do to your body. But yoga has major health benefits, not only physically to your body, but emotionally. It allows you to be free, and it allows you to heal. So if that's not something that you considered, if you have a yoga spot somewhere near where you live, you might want to invest in yoga, especially if you are a person who suffers from traumatic experiences, emotional scars, things that you have a hard time healing from. You might want to consider going somewhere and doing some yoga. Like, even if you do it from home, there's videos on YouTube for every single thing. Go to YouTube, pull up a yoga video, go to Walmart, grab you a yoga mat, and even if you don't have time to go out and actually do yoga, do it right in your own home, in your own bedroom, your living room, or whatever. So it is highly recommended. Yoga is a tool that is very effective in healing. Yoga. So listen, I'm trying to help y'all. I am trying to help y'all today, and this is not just for females. I had a big, buff, strong, muscle-bound man tell me how much he loves yoga. So this is not just for women. Like, people of all ages enjoy the benefits from yoga. So acceptance. Yes, it happened to me, but it's not yes, this is what happened to me, but it's over. So we have to learn how to accept the things that happened or whatever. I know that is a part of the serenity prayer. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I think that's it. I have not been in the rooms of NA or AA in a very long time, but yes, acceptance is the key. You have to accept the fact that whatever happened has happened. Sometimes a lot of us can probably walk around and be in denial. Denial is a river. Like, do not be in denial. You want to face whatever your issues is, just face to face, like it is what it is. It's me and you, and I am not going to let you dominate me. You have to take power over your own life. So I love Napoleon Hill. Of course, you guys know that. And in one of his lectures, he was talking about when trials and tribulations come his way, and someone in his audience asked him, like, how do you deal with trials and tribulations? And he said, I make grits out of it. I was like, wow. He was like, you can come over here if you want to, but I'm gonna ground you up like grits, just like I do, any other situation. And that is the type of attitude that you want to have in your life. So choose yourself every time. Yes, it was painful. Yes, I am choosing to no longer let this control me. Yes, I choose to move on. Tell yourself yes. Choose not to be the victim anymore. Choose to be more than your past. Choose yourself every time. You don't owe nobody nothing. You owe yourself. You owe yourself. And so often times we give so much of ourselves and we don't put back into ourselves. And that's what makes the suffering so much worse. Like, we don't even know how to heal because we don't take time out with choosing ourselves on the regular basis. We have to learn how to make choosing ourselves like an actual thing. Like, this is just what we doing right now. And I don't care whether you like it or not. Today, I choose me. So choose yourself every single time. It doesn't matter what the situation is. It might sound selfish, to some people. I have a beautiful heart, and I hate to even say it, because when people say stuff about themselves, then, you don't know whether to believe it or not. But I just do. I'm an amazing person. I would literally do anything for anyone, but I prioritize myself on such a level that people who don't prioritize themselves on that level probably wouldn't even understand. They like, wow, you do what? Yes, I prioritize myself in every single way because I know that I am important. So even a lot of the decisions that I make, sometimes people might treat us like we're not important from their point of view. But even if we are not important to someone else, we have to be important to ourselves. Like, I am important to me. Like, your boss might not think you important. Why is the life of your boss and his family and his bills and all of that kind of stuff more important than your life and your livelihood and your, family or your health or whatever you have going on? You are just as important as everyone else. So always choose you. So, let me keep on moving. Forgive everyone. Forgiveness is freedom from what happened. Forgiveness is strength. So we have to learn how to give. When in the process of giving, take the person out and just forgive the situation, because sometimes when we attach a person in their miserable ways or whatever to a situation that may have been harmful to us, then we can't forgive that person, because yes, they were wrong for doing whatever that they were doing. Just forgive the whole situation. And I know it sounds cliche, but forgiveness is for you. And when you take the person out and just forgive the whole situation, then it's easier to forgive. Like, don't even attach a person to the process of forgiving. Like, it happened for whatever reason. It had to happen. Today I choose to forgive. So forgiveness is freedom from what happened, and forgiveness is strength. And I do know that from my own personal experience. So I love this part. This is my favorite part of this life lesson. So attach a theme to your life story. The theme of your life story can be whatever you choose. Create a meaning behind your pain that can be the spark that ignites a new purpose within. Attaching a meaning is an act of understanding, a theme of inner strength, a theme of discovering you. What's the theme to your life? Like, how can you not love every part about that? And I was like, I started to think about it a little bit, like, what would the theme to my life be? And I was like, I don't want to come prepared to answer that question in front of y'all. So I am totally unprepared to answer the question of what would the theme to my life be. I wanted to get on here and kind of try to figure it out. right while doing the message. So I'm like, what would the theme to my life be? And I don't know. So if I had to give my life a theme, it would be discovering me. I don't know. I that's just the beginning. I guess it's one of those things that you have to think about. Of course, think about the theme that you would give to your life. But this just Man, this really did something to me in such a way. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I have to, get into this. So I want you guys to think about that. If you had to attach a theme to your life, like what would the theme be? Why you had to go through the things that you had to go through in life? A theme of love, a theme of compassion, a theme of overcoming, a theme that explains your pain in a nutshell. Give your life purpose and meaning. We are talking about healing today. Like, listen, we are talking about healing and what we can do in order for us to heal. It might sound crazy or corny or whatever to you, but I love every part of discovering a theme for myself. It actually makes me think about the name of my YouTube channel and my first book, and they're both named True Value, Knowing Your Worth. So I did not know. Someone was like, hey, you should make a YouTube channel. You're so encouraging. And this is just from me having a conversation with somebody. And I decided to write my book, and I was talking to my daughter, and I was like, I was going to name my first book, If I Can Do It, So Can You, or something somewhere along those lines. And I was like, no. So just having a conversation, I'm telling you, this is why it's so important for us to come together and talk to one another and all that kind of stuff. So I was talking to my daughter, and she was like, so what is the reason behind you wanting to do these things? And I was like, so people can know their own true value. And it was like a light bulb. It was like, ding, 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 ding. I was like, oh my God, that's it. So, I don't know if that might be the theme of my life. I don't know. True value, knowing my worth. I had to discover, my own true worth, and that was mainly because I was lied to for so many years about who I really am. People just looked at me and labeled me what they wanted me to be, and in all of the suffering and everything that I had to go through and grow through, God has allowed me to be very victorious in all of my pain and hurt and abuse and suffering. Healing was such a message that is so personal to me. And it's only because I can never get in front of you guys and say that I am healed. I am completely healed, because it is a lifelong process. But through all that I have been through, God has allowed me to experience such a great amount of healing, even from past traumas and things that I have to go through recently. So God teaches me how to heal for past experiences and for future ones too. So it's just so important to know how to heal. And if we don't heal, we're just going to have stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff. So we want to start clearing out, some of this stuff, and learn how to accept healing as a natural part of our lives. So I still don't know. I still don't know what my theme what the theme to my life might be. So I don't know. Maybe I'll come back next time I talk to you guys, I will have a theme for my life. I know I am courageous. I know I am victorious. I know I am an overcomer. These are words that I can personally use to describe myself. Other people might have some other choice words for me, but if I had to describe myself, it would be somewhere along those lines. So maybe that can I don't know. Okay, so let me tell y'all about when my father passed away. My father passed away. I was 20. I believe I would have been 21 years old. I wasn't 21 yet, but it was the year that I would. He died before my 21st birthday. So I had a father for 20 years and then he was gone. So a great father at that. So it made it so hard. So this is a personal experience with me learning how to deal with the process of healing. So yes, my father died when I was 20 years old, and I was very angry. I was very, very angry. I was bitter. I was cursing him out, and he's dead. I'm like, how are you cursing out a dead person? I was so mad at him for leaving me. And that was the year that I started using drugs. I started snorting cocaine that year. I was introduced to it, and it just took control over my life for like the next decade. So I snorted powder cocaine from the time I was like 21 to the time I was like 31. It lasted 10 years. That was a rough 10 years. So anyway, I was very, very angry at my father for passing away. I was mean. I lashed out on everybody. I cursed everybody out. And obviously I was scorned. I was hurt. And after about, oh my goodness, so he died in '01. Okay, so I started to try. I recognized, my life was beginning to get out of control. I tried to clean myself up, for the sake of my children and be strong. And I put myself in the inpatient rehab and, just trying to get my life back on track, because I know that is not what he wanted for me. So, in the process of that, and I wrote this in my first book, True Value, Knowing Your Worth. I wrote a chapter that I dedicated to my mother and my father. It's called The Love That I Lost. And it was basically on how I began to heal with the loss of my father. So after a while, I want to say maybe like 7 or 8 years, I began to celebrate my father. So I would get t-shirts made, invite my entire family over. We would get bushels of crabs. We would get, oh my God, it would just be a feast out of this world. We would have seafood. My son used to make like buttons in school, my oldest son. So he made buttons with with his grandfather's picture, name, the day that he was born, the day that he passed away, and all of that stuff on their balloons. We had a balloon release, a big old banner, a cake, and I did this for years. So I just decided to start celebrating his life, and even from the first time that I did it, I believe that I was still living at my mom's house, or, just trying to get myself together. I got my own place, moved down North Philly, even after I got married. For years, I celebrated my father every year the same way, like this great big old celebration. And in all of that celebrating, I seen the healing taking place. So, I don't know, something just snapped in my mind and was like, I was just so angry and so hurt and so full of resentment and bitterness, and I didn't know where to direct my anger. Like, how you gonna be mad at a person for dying? Like how you get mad at somebody because they died? I'm like, well, it was his fault and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. I just didn't know how to deal with it. And yes, I was very angry for a long time, until one year I started to celebrate him. And I know, like, my family could tell you right now, even people from my neighborhood, like, everybody knew when it was that time of year in June, every year, where it was time for me to celebrate my father. I mean, we had loud music, we danced, we played cards. It was amazing. So that helped me heal as much as I am now, as far as me losing my father. Now, I'm going to always miss him. I am daddy's girl down to the core. So, I'm going to always miss him. And I would say I'm going to always mourn him. I don't know if I'm going to always mourn him. And I probably would never be completely healed from the loss of my father. But what helped me so much is when I turn my suffering into celebrating. So I don't know. I mean, I just had it in my heart to tell you guys that. I don't know if that is something that anyone who has lost a loved one and is having a hard time with dealing with the loss of a loved one. They say the worst pain of losing a loved one is either a parent or losing a child. I am so grateful that I have never experienced the loss of a child, and I just pray to God that I would never. My heart pours out to those who have experienced the loss of a child, whether it be whether if you're the mother or the father, but you may want to start turning some of your pain into celebrating. And it was just such a release of great emotions, and it literally felt like his spirit was over us. He was already heavy spirited anyway. My family came from all over. After a while, those celebrations got bigger and bigger and bigger every year. So that is just something that I did to help me in the healing process of me losing my father. I lost many people in my life, but I believe thus far the loss of my father is one loss that devastated me the most out of all the people that I lost in my life. I was very close with him. We talked on the phone, we cried, we yelled. He yelled at each other, he yelled at me, I yelled at him because I thought I knew everything. He always gave me everything I wanted because I was his baby girl. So spoiled to the max. So I mean, sometimes if we learn how to turn our mourning into celebrating, that may help us in the process of healing. And I know that the loss of a loved one is something that we all can relate to on some level. So that's why God placed it in my heart, even as difficult as it was for me to talk about the loss of my father. God placed it on my heart to share that with you all today. So I hope that helps somebody. So allow yourself to see through the pain. Take action today for tomorrow. Focus on your now and let go of what was. So that is where I ended my message on healing. Oh my gosh. Like, I just can't believe the relevance of this message. I believe that this is going to break wide open, a whole new life for some people, just to even know that there is healing on the other side of your pain. We don't have pain is not something that we can get used to. I mean, whether it be physical pain, emotional pain, I don't care what kind of pain it is. And I don't think anyone should have to get used to living their life in pain, in any type of pain. So I did write down a few quotes. Like, my quotes had me on the edge of my seat too. Normally I write down maybe one or two quotes. I think I had 3 quotes today. So my first quote is from a man named Bruce Lee. I'm quite sure a lot of us heard that name before. He was a Hong Kong and American martial artist and actor, famously known for his move. Well, when I looked it up, it looks like it said to me Jeet Kune Do. Is Jeet. So I've been saying it wrong for all these years. I thought it was Taekwondo. So I don't know how they pronounce it in Japanese, but it looks like to me it says Jeet Kune Do, which is a famous martial art move. I'm quite sure you guys have heard of that before. So this is what Mr. Bruce Lee left behind. He said, willing is not enough. We must do. So that is very, very simple. And it is so relevant, even in this message of healing, because I believe that we all want to heal, and we can talk about healing, or we can continue to talk about our hurt and our pain, or excuse me, we can do what is necessary for us to do in order for us to begin to heal. So I mean, it is all up to you. So my second quote is from a young lady. Some of you might have heard this name before. I believe that she lived between 13 and 1400s or something like that. But her name is Joan of Arc. No one never knew what her real name was. So she was famously known for leading the French army in a momentous victory at a very young age. So I believe it was a war that was going on for like hundreds of years, and she finally allowed her people to be victorious in that war, and she was slain. I believe that that happened. They believe it happened between the ages of 17 and 19 years old. And she believed that she was born to do that. She believed that that is the main reason why God put her on this earth, was to lead her people to freedom. So back in the country where she was from, her name will go down in history forever. And Joan of Arc said, "Go forward bravely, fearing nothing." So, I mean, that right there, I could not just not write that quote down, because sometimes we can allow fear to get in the way of everything. We can allow fear to get in the way of us healing. Like, we let fear overtake us, and we create these fears in our own mind, and some people never make it to the other side. Some people don't even come close to realizing what their destiny is, or why God even brought them here on this earth, because we allow ourselves to be overtaken by fear. So I'm gonna say that again. This is what Joan of Arc said, this young brave soul. She said, "Go forward bravely, fearing nothing." So my last quote is from Queen Elizabeth II. I believe she recently passed away, and that was like a big thing all over. Queen Elizabeth was the queen of the UK, United Kingdom, for a very long time, and she was known for being the queen. And this is what Queen Elizabeth said: "A long life can pass by many milestones. Mine is no exception." So, not hers, and this is the queen. I mean, they said when she died, she had enough riches to end world hunger. I was like, well, why didn't she? Like they said, she had enough riches to end world hunger, and that was like, wow. And this is what she said. She said a long life, and I believe that she was like, had to be 80 something years old, probably older than that. I'm not exactly sure how old Queen Elizabeth was when she passed away, but she said a long life can pass by many milestones. Mine is no exception. Yours is no exception. Mine is no exception. We are going to pass many milestones. There are going to be many hurdles for us to jump over. There are going to be many things that is going to try to come deter us from our destiny, that is going to try to come and get through get in our way of what we are here to do. We have to learn how to continue to push through. We have to learn how to be resilient and to keep going even through our pain. Don't let your pain stop you. So that's why that quote stood out to me so much, because everyone is going to face trials and tribulations in their life. Everybody. It is inevitable. If you have one person that sits in front of you and try to fake like they don't experience troubles in their life, they're lying. If you are a human being on the face of this earth, you will face troubles. It don't matter what walk of life you are from, how rich your family was, none of that matters. How you respond to your trials matter. So you know, it is up to you. It is really up to you. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you choose to deal with it. So I'm going to leave y'all with these affirmations, and I am out of your way. Whoa, y'all got me all emotional up in here. I can't believe that it took me so long to get to this message of healing, but I am so grateful that God placed the message of healing in my spirit and allowed me to deliver it over to you guys. And I really hope and pray that in some way that the message of healing will show itself to be effective in the lives of many people, because we all need to experience healing in our lives. So the affirmation that I have is, I am not a victim, I am victorious. So you have to speak that over yourself. I mean, you can walk around and claim to be the victim for the rest of your life, or you can choose to rise above your circumstances or whatever happened to you and your situation at hand. So I am not a victim, I am victorious. I am not a victim, I am victorious. I am not a victim, I am victorious. I am not what happened to me. I am not what happened to me. That will not dictate what the rest of my life is going to look like. No one situation that happened to me in my life, I don't care what that situation was, no one thing is going to define the rest of my life. I choose the amount of happiness, joy, peace, and abundance that I allow myself to be opened up to for the rest of my life. I am victorious today. So I want you to speak that over yourself, and I want you to say it like you mean it. Come on now. We are walking in our victory, and we are going to be on our way to our own destiny. So that is it for my message for today, you guys. Woo! I am like feeling this on like, I'm on 100 right now, but I am so glad that God allowed me to, that he gave it to me, because I was still going to talk about faith. But we're going to get the message. We are going to get through a message of faith. I am not even going to promise you when. It may be next week. It may not be next week. Listen, I had to be obedient and adhere to the spirit that speaks with inside of me. And somebody must have needed this message on healing today, because this is what God told me to tell you. So that is it. Good morning, and thank you to everyone who jumped in and joined my live or later on view this live. Thank you so much for all your views and supports. I am over 400 subscribers on YouTube. I'm like, how? Like, I never even ever expected that to happen. I have thousands and thousands and thousands of views. I'm almost at 200,000 views on YouTube. People from all over the world are tuning into my videos, whether it is happy, funny, you know, nature, motivational, inspirational. It is all a good feel, a good movement, great empowerment. Like, that is why I am here. I want to empower and enlighten some people, you know, just tell you guys some things that you may not know. Sometimes when I'm talking to people, they like, wow, you know, even the expressions on their face is like, I never thought about it that way. Like, I really did not know that. So I'm glad that God is using me in this way. But anyway, if you have not yet, go to YouTube and subscribe to True Value Knowing Your Worth on YouTube. That is also the name of my first book. You can find available on Amazon Kindle, or you can order the paperback version to be shipped right to your front door. So my first book is True Value Knowing Your Worth. My second book is Walking Treasure, Discover Your Hidden Treasures. My third book is Feed Your Soul, Your Personal Guide to Health and Wellness. And my fourth book is Religiously, a closer look at spirituality and religion. So y'all go ahead out there and support your girl. All of your support matters, whether it is big or small. I still got my star button up there. Y'all can drop a couple 99-cent stars on me if you choose to. In the meantime, continue to tune into these motivational life lessons, or even my quick 1-minute videos, whatever floats your boat. Like, whatever you feel as though is going to help you. I do notice that my 1-minute videos, they get thousands of views, opposed to some of my longer videos. And I do try to be respectable of your time, but when I get into lessons like this, you know, I'm grateful for those who take their time out and sit through these type of messages. But these messages are so important, and don't deny yourself, because you never know how they may help you. So I am out of here, you guys. Thank you once again. I love you. In the meantime, y'all look out for more motivational videos and continue to stay blessed. Mwah.